Good afternoon and welcome to the Core Hour, sensible, sustainable solutions for our society and you. How's everybody feeling today?
Doing great.
Excellent.
Good.
Awesome. Today is, what is today, May 17th?
14th.
Yeah.
Okay, May
14th.
2015.
Yeah, moving right
And
along.
on every show, we start with our Ma'at meditation for the week. And this is week 20.
Mhm.
And the Ma'at law for week 20 is I have not been angry without reason.
Okay.
Now,
so, it doesn't say you can't be angry. Huh?
Right. And this is not to be confused with the 25th law, which is I have not been exclusively angry. And this is also not to be confused with 35th law of Ma'at, which is I have not spoken angrily or arrogantly. Okay, I can't wait to talk about that one because, there are a lot of people who just amp up for no reason in New Orleans. You know what I mean? Just stay amped up, and you can't really tell if they're mad or not or if they're joking or not, but just check yourself, just check yourself sometimes. I got an example. I mean, can y'all think of examples of people or even yourself, people who have been angry without reason, or stay angry without reason?
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing I like about this. One of the things I like about this is that I always reflect on myself. So I know that there's been times when it's like, oh man, I'm acting out of anger. Well, why are you mad? And then you get more angry because you don't know exactly why.
And that's the thing, the Ma'at laws, again, the 42 negative confessions of Ma'at were the ancient Kemetic laws that governed the land in ancient Kemet. And so, when they were living their lives, these laws helped them to kind of check themselves and make certain that they were in line with the divine laws. And one of the things I can think about just in myself, I'm a dad. My son is 13 and my daughter's 15. And very early on in their lives, I decided, not to spank them. Now, this is a very highly debated topic, but that was just my choice. And if you have a different perspective on this, please call in. Again, our number is 504-260-9265. But for me personally, when I get upset, disappointed, really it's more disappointment, in the kids for action that they're taking and so forth. I used to get really angry and I would act in anger and I'd want to spank somebody. And I had to look back, at when I was 13, when I was young, and, I think it just made me more angry when I got spankings and when I got in trouble and when, so I just, in my life, the way I'm doing things right now, I try not to get angry unless it's fight or flight type situation.
Sure.
Okay.
And that's just, just a little something, just a little something for you to think about. Again, you can call in during the show, 260-WBOK or 260-9265. We'd like to hear from you on people being angry without reason. And let's move on. Unless, anybody got something else? Okay, let's introduce everybody who's on the show today. To my right, we got Yoni. Yoni, what's your last name? Yoni.
Sunshine.
Yoni Sunshine. Yoni Sunshine. Yoni Sunshine works with the Learning for Life program, which is a program of the Boy Scouts of America. And I came to know Yoni, it's been some months now.
Yeah, I think you called around New Year's
Yeah.
and said you had great ideas for how to bring the Boy Scouts into the future a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
I'm excited to do great things with Core USA.
So we got Yoni, myself, of course, Tillman Hardy, and Mike Ballard, as always, as well as Ashlyn Washington, a.k.a. Toots Marley,
Yep.
in the house. And this time, he's running the cameras, and he's on the mic, y'all.
He does it all.
And he's on the mic. That's what I'm
Multitasking.
talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So I got a couple of clips for y'all. And I want to start the show with these couple of clips because I found them to be very inspirational. Let's start the first clip with, let's start the fight, the Czech Congo fight. Now, just to preface this, y'all, this is a fight that I saw on YouTube. It was really the end of a fight I saw on YouTube with Czech Congo and Pat Barry. Now, I want y'all to listen to this. If you have 2-3 minutes just to sit still and listen to this, I think you won't forget it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Switching up his stance. Checked. Oh, big right hand. Pat Barry looking to finish. It's over. Wow. Can Congo really survive?
It looked like he was out.
He is now.
He's out.
Nope. Still
Oh,
up.
man. Mergliata's letting this go. That's incredible.
Great job done by Czech Congo. He's in big trouble, though. Barry looking to finish the fight.
He's taken over.
Pat Barry's down. It's all over. Czech Congo has knocked out Pat Barry.
That is one of the craziest stoppages I have ever seen.
Unbelievable. And what a great job done by Dan Mergliata.
That was unbelievable. I have never seen anything like that in my life. It looked like Czech Congo was unconscious. Pat Barry ran in recklessly, got caught, and got put to sleep.
Forget Pete Sell, Scott Smith. How about that?
That was the most amazing comeback I have ever seen.
Pat Barry looked like he had finished Czech Congo. Dan Mergliata did a great job letting the fight continue.
And there's the right that hurt him. He goes down. Pat Barry jumps on him. Yeah, Mergliata did a great job in letting this fight go. And here he hurt him there, and there's the uppercut.
Crazy.
There you have it. There you have it. And if you're wondering, if you're not a visual person or if you're a visual person and you needed to see that, I'll just explain really quickly. So Czech Congo, I believe Czech Congo's like 6'4", 6'5", lean brother, dark-skinned brother from Africa. Not really sure what part of Africa. I don't think it's Congo, but anyway, against Pat Barry, and Pat Barry is standing over Czech Congo after a massive right to the face, right? So he knocks Czech Congo out. Czech Congo hits the ground, and everybody says, it's over. You know, he's been knocked out. It's over. And then Czech Congo pops back up. So everybody's like, first of all, that was a hard right. Like, how did he get up from such a hard right? And then he's backing into the corner, but he's trying to, break himself out of the daze. And then Pat Barry hits him again, knocks him down. This time, the announcer says it's over. Like, this is it. It's done. And Dan Mergliata, the referee, lets the fight continue because Czech Congo's still kind of moving around. He's dazed and confused, but he's still kind of moving around. So the referee lets it continue. And then the next scene is Czech Congo getting up again, right? And somehow he makes a quick calculation and plants one in the perfect place on Pat Barry and puts him down. And I just want to say, there are folks out there who are getting beat up, put down, and society is looking at them and saying, oh, it's over. You know, you got young people out there who are being discounted and being told that they'll never amount to anything. You have entrepreneurs in the community trying to do work, trying to help people, trying to provide jobs for the community. They're being told that they'll never be successful with their potential model. You know, the fight ain't over, y'all. It's not over until it's over, until that final bell rings. And, you know, my reflection is the final bell can only be rung by one being, one individual, and that's God. Any reflections on that?
I like that. That was amazing. Like, I really want people to look at the YouTube video too.
It's on my Facebook page, y'all. Tillman Hardy, Facebook page, Tillman Hardy. That's with one L. If y'all want to check it out, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, it's just, it even has a caption that says, like, you think he's KO'd, but then, and I'm watching the video, seeing the caption and thinking, well, this dude's not getting up. Okay, now he's not, and then it happens.
So more action in 1 minute in that fight than in the Pacquiao Mayweather.
See, you opening up a can of worms. But, you know, I was just really impressed by Chet Congo. Now I want him on the show. Can we get Chet Congo? Because I want to know what he was thinking when he went down the first time. Because it seems like he was like, okay, this is just part of the fight. I mean,
we should get him to come talk about resilience.
Talk about resiliency. And so the next clip, y'all, is Neil deGrasse Tyson. And let me look up Neil deGrasse Tyson because I want to get his information correct. Neil deGrasse Tyson is an American astrophysicist, a cosmologist, not to be confused with a hairstylist. He's an author and a science communicator. And so it says here, since 1996, he has been the Frederick P. Rose Director of the Hayden Planetarium at the Rose Center for Earth and Space in New York City. And on sale today is the Neil deGrasse Tyson tickets. He will be in New Orleans in November, and he will be at the Sanger Theater. I am definitely buying my tickets today.
I gotta find out the price.
And if you don't know who he is, we're going to play this clip for you. He was on Sway's radio show, and listen to what Neil deGrasse Tyson has to say.
Shows about ancient aliens and that sort of thing.
You're an alien guy. You know what happens is people don't believe that ancient humans had any intellect at all, and they say, "Oh, they couldn't have built this. It must have been by aliens." But give our freaking species some credit for figuring stuff out.
Okay, well, that's what I want to ask you, because the other day I was watching this thing about pyramids, and people truly believe that the technology to build pyramids wasn't of this earth, because at the time the pyramids were being made.
So it was Europeans coming to Africa, seeing an amazing civilization that they could not imagine an African build, and they must then invoke some other cause that enabled them to build it. Excuse me, clever people come in all colors, all right?
Okay.
So just because you can't figure out how somebody built a pyramid doesn't mean the people who built the pyramid got help from aliens. That's all I'm saying.
So
just admit that you're not as smart as the people who built the aliens and end the conversation there.
So how do you explain these pyramids being on?
There you have it, folks. Astrophysicist, cosmologist, author, science communicator, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Highly intelligent. And what I like about Neil deGrasse Tyson is that he takes seemingly, complicated information, information that you feel that you don't have access to, about planets, about the cosmos, and he breaks it down in such a clever way that you walk away feeling like you know something. You know what I mean? And so I'm excited to get my tickets to the show, and I hope that you do as well. Any comments from the crew?
No, I watched that video too. I love watching Sway in the morning. So Sway asked him everything. I think he asked him, can you time travel?
That
was one of the. He said, well, you can time travel into the future. So all you have to do is just go fast enough. But and then he talked about the problems with time travel into the past. So and it's the conversation he's having is really fact.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He's using nothing but pure, unfiltered facts.
Right.
And he's putting it in a way that you can't help but to learn and know what he's talking about, right. Which I really appreciate. And it makes me start thinking, what if there was no Neil deGrasse Tyson?
You can say that about a lot of people, and that's one thing I really love about this show is that you do the Ma'at meditations, because at the very least, if you don't understand the meditations, it'll get you to think that these people were doing these things on a daily basis.
Thousands of years ago.
Right, ancient civilizations, and they were able to expand their way of thinking and their consciousness far beyond the capacity that we exist at today.
And what do we have today?
That's the $1 million question. We have a lot of technology, but I think we have a lot of smartphones that are smarter than people.
Why do I have to read a book when Siri can read a book for me, and all I got to do is ask her a question, and she'll tell me exactly what I need to know. Mm-hmm. So, or Wikipedia. I use Wikipedia a lot. I use it a lot.
I have to admit, though, the resources are there, and they're meant to be used. You have to think about in terms of those ancient civilizations where what they used were tools, and we have to realize that everything that we use are same things, tools. Mm-hmm. The headphones are a tool for listening, the camera is a tool for recording. It's all tools, and so it would be unwise for us to not utilize the tool, but we can't let the tool outdate us, though.
Exactly, back when I was a young boy. Mm-hmm. There was this book called Curious George. Yeah. And Curious George was a little monkey, and he always got into stuff. But the big white man with the yellow hat, who was Curious George's owner, would always, teach him a lesson or help him to understand the lesson that he's learning as he's kind of tinkering and exploring, new things. Mm-hmm. And so, I always was exploring, and I always was trying to understand how things worked and why people were doing what they were doing. And, do we always have to do things? I had a lot of questions. And so, from a very young age, I was interested in architecture. I think it was like second grade. Wow. And, Miss Gudger, my second grade teacher, asked us to draw a house, and I drew a set of floor plans because I figured that's, how could you know what my house looked like or felt like or what the experience was without knowing where my room was and where my parents' room was. And so she said, oh, you might want to be an architect. And I'm like, what's that? And so fast forward to high school, I was fortunate enough to be a Boy Scout in high school, actually all the way back to elementary school. And in high school, the Explorers program, which was still a program of the Boy Scouts even back then, and that was 20 years ago, hooked me up with Leo A. Daly Architecture Firm. And Leo A. Daly Architecture Firm hosted about 10 to 20 young people who were with the Explorers program, and they taught us about architecture, and we actually tinkered around with computer systems and building models and stuff like that, and it just really fueled the fire and got me really motivated towards doing what was seemingly always my dream. And so when I came across Yoni, that's what I was focused on, because what I see in the community today is a lot of young people who are confused, who need guidance, who are actually looking for guidance.
Right, that's the thing too.
They're looking for guidance and exposure and mentors. And And I can't say enough that, each one teach one. There's even an organization called Each One Teach One. Mm-hmm. And we got to start teaching as many young people as possible, because I think that's the biggest problem that our youth are facing. We like to talk about the challenges to sustainability at the beginning of the show. And so that's my piece. What do y'all see as some of the challenges in the community? And again, if you want to call in and offer your challenges to young people you see in the community, call into 504-260-WBOK, 504-260-9265. But what challenges are y'all seeing out in the community? Yoni, what about your organization?
Well, I think really the biggest challenge goes to kind of what Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about, which is knowledge, and us not really tapping or appreciating and building on that knowledge. Knowledge is really power.
Yeah.
If you look at societies around the world, the ones that are successful maintain, cultivate, preserve, and build on their knowledge, and the ones that don't last destroy their knowledge. And I think what we need to do in New Orleans is really understand all of the knowledge that's out in the community and help people figure out what their passions are and let them be creative with their passions so that they can be successful and help cultivate future leaders and develop some new knowledge, because the world is looking at New Orleans as an innovative city.
The world.
It's looking for us to solve problems at a local scale, on an urban policy, on environmental policy, on family policies. I mean, if we can do it in New Orleans, we could do it anywhere.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's what I want to bring to New Orleans in my role with the Boy Scouts, is some of that creativity, that innovation, so that we could partner with other community groups and businesses and social entrepreneurs, and not just make it what everyone knew, but develop some new knowledge, some new resources, and take us to a new place.
Absolutely, because it's funny you say that, because every time I'm out with the kids, or even when I'm just observing, watching other kids, out there, not my own, there are some really bright young people out there who are innovative. They can take a piece of chalk, y'all, and start writing on the sidewalk and start drawing pictures and stuff, and you come back and you have like this amazing image that really just touches your heart. I mean, you have young people who will sit around and write songs and poetry, and they'll go to an open mic night and just kind of say what's on their mind, and it just blows you away. It's some highly innovative young people out there, and they just need a space to be creative.
If I could blow you away for a second. We have a 14-year-old who's an Eagle Scout.
What?
Yeah, and he lives in Lakeview, and he has diabetes.
Wow.
Yeah. And his mom works in diabetes care, and he used to live in Oklahoma. And so when he was in Oklahoma, obviously they have tornadoes out there. So he thought, how can I solve the problem of diabetes and tornadoes at one time? So he created portable, personal diabetes and insulin kits.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
$20,000 almost worth of donated supplies, over 300 portable insulin kits he created and distributed to the community.
And this kid's
he's
14.
He's a 14-year-old. I think he was doing it when he was 13, right?
Wow,
and he was a finalist for the Southern Region Eagle Project of the Year. So, I mean, talking about, kids taking it to another level, in an organization that can harness some of that ability, it's the Scouts, and, you never know how far the kids can fly.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I've seen things happen in the neighborhood on a regular, consistent basis that involve young people where, the adults are just confused by the actions of these young people.
Yeah.
They observe young people in the situation that they're in, and they think, oh, this child doesn't get it. and is expressing themselves in a way that's just not right. And who are they to, as we talked about a couple of shows ago, who are they to be twerking in a party, you know? Well, that's their creative expression. You had your time with the Humpty dance. You had your time doing the butt. You had your time doing all of the Ed Lover and all that kind of stuff. You had your time. Yeah. Let them express themselves creatively and coach them. Teach them that you don't have to twerk with a skirt that rides up so that everybody sees everything under your skirt. You know, coach them and mentor them, but let them be free to express themselves because you just never know what's going to happen. Right. I mean, look at Big Frida. Y'all can say what y'all want to about Big Frida, but Big Frida is changing world culture.
You're right by saying world.
World culture. Frida's. I'm on her Facebook page. I'm a friend of Frida on Facebook. Frida's in Europe twerking. Yeah. Frida's in Australia twerking. Frida's everywhere twerking.
Yep.
And guess what? People around the world are twerking with Frida.
Yep.
So who am I to tell anybody that they shouldn't be twerking?
Right.
Don't be a twerk jerk.
I think it goes back to there's this quote that I remember. It said something to the extent of, you know, we have a lot of warriors in the world. We have a lot of workers. We have a lot of scientists, activists, things like that. But what we need more than ever in this day and age are lovers, and that love translates into artistic capabilities. And so really, I think just at this point in this day and age, we just need to create, and New Orleans is definitely the breeding grounds for that, given the culture and the history. But we really need to just create platforms that allow artists like Big Frida to change the game, to be complete innovators. And, you know, we have a system right now that doesn't support that. You know, the system is, to quote Tupac, it's all gimme, gimme, gimme. You know, everybody wants to do for themselves, and
if they can't fit you into a box,
right, exactly, and
then you don't belong.
Right. And as out of the box as Kanye might be at times, one thing he said that was really important.
And his wife.
Yeah. When he was going on his rants on Sway in the morning and stuff on the Breakfast Club, he was saying, don't let people marginalize you. You know, like, if you find something you're good at, do that, of course, but also recognize that when you do one thing, you know, plenty of things can branch out of that. You know, you have to find what correlates with your vision, and you have to do all of those things in order to cultivate something really, really great. And we just need to build systems that not only allow that to take place, but that nurture that creativity as well.
And I'll tell you another thing, because I have a few friends who are from various parts of Africa. Specifically, you know, one of my dear friends is an attorney. She is from Ivory Coast.
Wow.
And I remember last maybe like 2-3 years ago. Actually, no, this might have been even before Katrina. A bunch of her friends came in town from various parts of the country. Even some came from Africa. And they were all dancing, you know, to songs from various parts of Africa. And I remember sitting there watching their dances, and I was like, they twerking. Wait a second. I'm talking about doctors, lawyers, you know, from Africa dancing with their indigenous dances from their home, from Africa.
That looked similar to twerking.
No, it was twerking.
Straight up twerking.
No, they were straight up twerking. And, I mean, they were twerking harder than Frida.
Wow.
And that's some twerking. I mean, if you ain't never seen Frida twerk, check Twitter and Facebook for Frida, and even on the internet, I think Frida broke the record for the longest twerk. Is that right?
Yeah, they did the Guinness World Records out here.
So Frida be twerking, y'all. And I'm telling you, these doctors and lawyers were twerking harder than Frida, and I ain't mad.
Shout out to twerking doctors.
Twerking doctors.
Oh, man.
I know they have Doctors Without Borders. Maybe we need to have Twerking Without Borders and just twerk everywhere. Wake up the world. Is that a caller that we have on line 3? Okay. Well, moving on, y'all. I think we're going to do a break here pretty soon. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and move into the break. After the break, we're going to talk about some of the solutions. Yoni has some awesome programs that the Boy Scouts and Learning for Life have launched. We have some programs that we're launching, so make sure you come back where we talk about the solutions to youth development. Core Hour, sensible, sustainable solutions for our society and you.
WBOK 1230 AM, the People's Station.
Welcome back to the show, the Core Hour, sensible, sustainable solutions for our society and you. Over the break, Yoni Sunshine just said that they're going to have a new merit badge for twerking, y'all.
I did not say that. I absolutely did not say that.
We're going to make that happen, y'all. No.
Boss, it was not my
All right, y'all. But yeah, we had a very interesting first half of the show. I mean, we got clips now. We're playing clips on WBOK from the fight. I mean, we got the Boy Scouts in here. This is just, living the dream, y'all. Living the dream.
Every week it's getting better.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the partnership between Core USA and the Learning for Life program. We're calling it the Core Explorers. And the Core Explorers program is a summer internship. It's a partnership between Core USA, the Core Hour, WBOK, and Learning for Life, real-world career experiences for youth aged 12 to 21. Trying to catch them right in that age where they're trying to figure out what they're going to be doing as they become teenagers, that tween age, when they're becoming teenagers, and so the boys getting a little peach fuzz on their lip, and trying to understand what that's all about. And young women, I don't know what young women get. We know what they get, but we're not going to say that on the show. So, we're trying to catch them at that age, and then all the way up to age 21, where hopefully they just graduated from college and they're looking to launch their career. We want to make sure that we're coaching them all along the way so that whatever it is that they want to do in their professional life, they feel confident that they've been exposed to enough and they've built their resume up enough to land a real job. So let's talk a little bit about the program, Yoni. When did it start and why did it start?
Well, so exploring has been a part of the Boy Scouts for decades now, and it's aligned with the 12 different career focuses of the U.S. Department of Education.
Okay.
So there's the STEM focus, science, technology, engineering, and math. There's life sciences, there's law, there's banking, there's government. And the whole idea was to really create an opportunity for youth to gain entry into a career, to see if they want to be a part of that career, to understand what type of education they'll need when they move on from high school. It's really kind of a scaffolding from middle and high school into either the workforce or college. Most of our partnerships are actually with civil service agencies, so it's actually about a decade and a half ago, 2 decades ago, the New Orleans Fire Department and the Police Department and the Sheriff's Office had hundreds of explorers. And we're actually trying to rebuild our partnership with the New Orleans Fire Department right now to create another exploring program again. Katrina obviously kind of, just like everyone else, really messed with us on that.
But did a lot. Yep.
But Boy Scouting, it's a merit badge program. It's based on youth gaining leadership through outdoor experience and teaching other kids what they've learned. Exploring is a little different because it's co-ed, and it's more focused on one career set. So it's not quite as interdisciplinary. But actually, what excites me about the Core USA group is that it's very interdisciplinary skill set, and it's a very value-adding program that we're creating. And I've looked across the country, and there are other engineering groups, but there are no kind of sustainable community development exploring posts anywhere in the country.
You heard it here first, y'all. You heard it here first. We're making
number
history.
one.
We're making history.
Yeah.
We're number one, y'all. We're number one. So I'm looking at some of the career fields. As you said, there's the arts and humanities exploring. There's aviation exploring. I used to want to fly planes back in the day.
Actually, a new subset within aviation exploring is drone piloting.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
And actually, we have drones at our Thanksgiving camp in Mississippi.
So you telling me we're going to have little kids flying drones all around?
Maybe one day. If you come to
Close
our
the
Thanksgiving
blinds.
camp in Mississippi, actually, the kids do get to operate a drone. Yeah.
That is awesome. It's just incredible.
And robots.
It's incredible what these young people are learning. The engineering and technology, communications, exploring. So you got young journalists. If you want to be a journalist, you got communications exploring, health, law, social services, skilled trades. Wow. This is where I want to see a lot of people going too, because there are a lot of young people out there who are good with their hands. They're very creative, but they're working at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Guys, girls, if you're working at McDonald's, that's great. It's a good start. Learn how to come to work on time. Learn how to do customer service.
Right.
Learn how to please your clients. Learn how to, manage a business and manage your peers working at these places. But then look at your exit strategy, okay? If you're not going to be a manager or an owner at McDonald's, develop your exit strategy, and it might just be exploring. You may just join a club, join Core USA even, and learn about another career path that can be a pathway out of your current situation. Out of your current situation. So there you have it, folks. That's the subcategories for the career fields. And just to talk about what we're going to be doing with our career exploration post, over the summer, starting June 1st, we are going to have a summer program, the Core Explorers, and youth interested in employment and after-school activities during the school year are going to be prioritized. So if you're signing your young people up for the Core Explorers program over the summer, just know that especially if they're like in the Carrollton area, uptown, places like that, what we're trying to do is create a system where after school, during the school year, they will be able to come to one place and do their homework and things like that, and at least once a week be able to explore different career paths. And so we have an awesome curriculum that we're going to be using. It's called Roots of Success, and it was developed at University of California in Berkeley. There are several categories or learning modules that we're going to go over, and I'm just going to run through them really quickly. Fundamentals of Environmental Literacy is the first one. The second module is water. So they'll be learning about different types of water conservation strategies, why water is important, how it gets filtered, how we use it in our society, because there's a lot of ways that we use water that people don't know about, like Niagara Falls produces an incredible amount of energy for the state of New York. A lot of people don't know that. Third module is waste. And as we talk about waste, really what we're trying to do is talk about how to divert waste away from the landfills. That's really what we're trying to do, how to manage waste and how to reduce our waste stream. Fourth is transportation. So we talk about public transportation. We talk about the development of transportation and fuel efficiency and so forth and so on. Energy is the fifth module. We talk extensively about energy. You know that Core USA is very involved with energy and solar and renewable energy and workforce development around that. And so energy is the fifth category. Building, okay? So building construction, architecture, design, urban planning. We talk about that. Next is health, food, and agriculture. And I'm actually surprised at how involved young people get in this particular learning module. They actually really take this on, and they're really interested in learning about new foods and how the food is grown. And, you know, can they grow it in their backyard? And the answer is yes. You can even grow it in your window, you know, sometimes. And so we talk about that and how to eat healthy and so forth and be healthy. And community organizing and leadership. Now, this is one of my favorites because this is when young people start to rethink their community. They start to look at their community in a different way, and they start to look at, you know, positive developments that they can do, that they can initiate, and they can start to organize their friends around making their living situation better. And learning how to be leaders in that as well. And then financial literacy and social entrepreneurship. Really, I want to teach those separately. That's one unit, but financial literacy itself,
that's huge.
I mean, we could talk about that every day.
Yeah.
You know, do you really need those Jordans? I mean,
not only that, just saving 10% of your allowance.
10% of your allowance. You know, save something.
Yeah.
Just learn how to save. Learn that there's a difference between what you need and what you want.
Right. That should be class 1.
And you know, a couple of parents out there probably listening in and saying, my child don't have no wants, right? I mean, I heard that all the time when I was growing up. But it's true. You know, when you're 12 or 13, sometimes you think that if you don't have the new pair of Jordans, you're just not going to fit in.
Right.
You're just not going to be cool.
Right.
You're going to be left out. Back in my day, it was the starter jackets and the Huaraches, right? And, you know, that was back when we had real Jordans, y'all, but we're not going to get on that. That was in the 80s. People were fighting and killing over Jordans and starter jackets and so forth. So, but we didn't need all of that.
Correct.
Looking back, I don't have my starter jacket anymore. You know, that Raiders jacket that people were killing over back in the day.
You don't have your cross colors outfits anymore?
You know what? I kind of wish I had my cross colors, though. I kind of wish cross colors were cool, man. But I kind of wish, but no, I don't. And those things were expensive.
Right.
Those things were expensive. And so just looking back, it's like, what might have happened if I would have kept all that money all those years and just shopped at Mervin's. Y'all remember Mervin?
Oh, we didn't have them up in Cincinnati. Ross, Dress for Less.
There you go. And social entrepreneurship again. You know, learning about the triple bottom line and learning that, you know, people should come before people and the planet should come before profit. They will learn that in social entrepreneurship. And then the last one, which of course will take us probably the majority of the summer, will be application and practice, because we're going to put everything that they've learned into practice during the summer so that they can learn that you can actually build a career around improving your community. And so that's what we're going to do this summer. Again, call in with your questions, 504-260-9265 if you have them. And if you want to sign your young people up, you can keep checking in on our website. We will have a splash page next week. It should be ready on Monday. And so if you want to sign your kids up, you can come to www.coreusa.net, and hopefully you like our Facebook page, which is also Core USA, and Twitter, because we will be sharing with you the different links that you need to register your young people on our social media. And the phone number, if you want to call in and leave us a message with your information, you can call 504-298-9556. You'll be calling Core USA. Again, that's 504-298-9556. So, where do we want to go from here? We want to talk about the summer program. Again, I didn't mention one more thing, that the summer program is from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock. There are a lot of summer programs out there that end early and things like that. And so what we're trying to do, again, is create a more sustainable structure. So your kids will be able to come to the show all day, every day. Is that somebody on the line? We have a caller on the line.
He said
the caller. Go ahead and say who it is.
So the caller is calling, and he's asking about, why don't you spank your child?
Why don't I spank my child? Why don't I spank my child? Okay, well, here's the thing. And again, this is just me. This is just me. This is just me. Maybe they hung up.
Yeah, I think he just asked the question, and that was all.
I said this before, but when I was young, you know, I got a lot of spankings, y'all. I got a lot of spankings. And just looking back, you know, I actually learned more when my mom and dad sat down and talked to me. When I was, you know, receiving corporal punishment, I was just angry that I was getting a spanking. And I didn't, my mind was shut down in the middle of the spanking, literally. It would shut down, and all I could think to myself is, why is this happening? And, you know, I should have, back in those days, if I was doing what my mom wanted me to do, I would have been thinking about why she was spanking me, right? But that didn't happen. That didn't happen for me. And as a young man, when you have anyone spanking you or putting their hands on you, you tend to get angry. That tends to be your first reaction, is anger. And we talk a lot about anger on this show, and I believe that it's just unhealthy. And so I don't want to do anything that would invoke anger in my children. And even if it doesn't, even if my kids are smarter, which they are, and different than me, which they are, I still just don't want to take that chance that I will invoke the same kind of anger that I had as a young child, because literally, you know, my mind just shut down. And so, so that's why I took the long way around, but that's why I don't, spank my kids. And also, my kids are 13 and 15 now. And I don't know when was the last time you spanked a 13-year-old or a 15-year-old, but, it doesn't really work. Now, if you take away their iPhone, Now you might be onto something. If you take away the iPhone and the computer and the Xbox, you might be onto something right there. Ain't nothing but time to sit around and think about what you did wrong. Yeah. And guess what? You lock that stuff up, you lock that technology up in the closet somewhere where they can't get in. What they going to do? They're going to go buy a new one? With what? So for me, that's my new form of corporal punishment. So I appreciate Facebook and Twitter and all those guys for developing this technology that our kids feel like they need, because now when I take it away, what do? They just sit around and mope and hopefully think about why they're on punishment. And so, sorry I took so long, but it's a really important topic to me. I'm completely anti-violence, and to me, I'll say one more thing. And then I'm done with this, and then I'm done. All right. Do you really need to get angry at your children? Okay, we got another caller. No, I'm sorry. Before I get on my rant, we're going to let this caller come in because we only got a few minutes. Caller?
Good afternoon. This is Dr. Sir Master Chef to the White House of 35 years.
Go ahead.
I want to comment about what you said about spanking. I have 8 children. I have never spanked one of my kids. Not one time. What I did with them, we talked about consequences. You get in trouble, there's consequences. You can take away things from a kid. You can redirect them. There's timeouts. My wife teaches school, first grade. The timeout is the number of minutes of the child. That's how long the child sits quietly with their arms crossed and their legs crossed. And think about what you do. You do not beat on your child.
Right.
We were beat on as slaves. We were beat on as young people. Like, I'm 60 years old. I got beat on when I was in high school in Mississippi. So what you're saying is right. You don't beat. You talk to your child.
Right.
Let your child know what the consequences are of getting in trouble. And you're touching on a good topic.
Thank
Morals
you so
and
much
values need to get back in the home, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank
so
you so
Master
much
Chef,
for the call.
if you could, please hold on, stay on the line. I want to speak with you after the show. But thanks for calling. You really made a great point.
All right. There you have it, folks. 8 children. Go ahead on. That's what I'm talking about. And he did not use any violence towards his kids. And I tell you what, as a society, if we can learn how to not use violence when we're dealing with things and when we are debating about various topics, not just physical violence. And I've said this a couple times on the show, but I'm not just talking about physical violence. There is emotional violence.
Right.
Calling your kids names. Just being out in the mall and listening to people talk to their children, calling them all kind of MF, this and that. Stop calling your kids names in public and otherwise. Don't call,
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
You're still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. Do you have something you want to add, or?
Well, we need to talk more with our children. We need to read to our children, and we need to include our children in a family discussion. On Thursday night, we have family night. Everybody sit at the table. You need to sit down and eat with your children. You need to ask them, how was their day? They need to ask you, how was your day? Being a parent is a hard job.
It is.
Being a child is even harder. Do you know we homeschool because the schools are too rough? They treat our kids horrible.
Absolutely.
My sons have been called red ends by their own kind. My last 2. I have a senior and a sophomore. My senior speaks Mandarin fluently. He wants to become a chef. He's going to La Cordon Bleu in Orlando, Florida. I am so proud of that.
And we're proud of them, too. We have to wrap up. We literally have a minute left.
Thank
and
you.
the
I
music is
appreciate
starting.
everything you're doing, and we need to do more in this city for young people.
Absolutely, and thank you very much. And Mama B wanted me to say one last thing in closing, which is, if you don't have anything good to say, just smile.
Yeah.
Just smile. And that's the core hour, y'all. See you next Thursday.